Hi, so I am going to do a recent reads for my first video on my very new BookTube channel. Most of these books I have read in the month of July, but some of these I read back in May, and then I'm going to show you the books that I'm going to read for August. So we're going to start with Cinder. Cinder is basically, I guess you could say it's a dystopian novel based in the future where humans are mixed with androids, and it's like Cinderella with a twist. It was very well written. I very much enjoyed it. It only took me a couple days to read, actually. I haven't read the other book. Scarlet is the next book in it. I haven't read the other book yet. I like to take breaks in between book series because I find if I read book after book after book in series, I get really bored with the characters. So I'll take a break and I'll probably read Scarlet when the next book comes out. But it's a really good book. I would definitely recommend it. Was Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler, also known as Lemony Snicket to those of you who enjoy the series of Unfortunate Events like I do. Unfortunately, I did not like this book. I liked the cover, and I thought it was interesting how the book pages weren't like pagey, like they weren't like soft, they were more magazine style, but I didn't like this book. I found the main character was very annoying, and it's basically a letter to a guy that she recently broke up with, and it's basically saying why she broke up with him, and you're reading the book and you realize, why did she get with him in the first place? I didn't enjoy it at all. I really considered not finishing the book because I was just so upset at this main character and how, in my eyes, how much of an idiot she was. But I did end up finishing it, and by the end of the book I was like, I'm glad it's over. I was not a fan. I really do like the Lemony Snicket books, but as for Daniel Handler, I don't know if I would consider reading any of his other stuff. The next book I read in July, and it's the City of Bones book. I did enjoy reading the book. It's a bit slow at times, so I did start this before July and I finished it in July though. It's a bit slow, but it picks up around the middle and then it's kind of slow during the end. There's one thing I don't like about it though, and that it takes a main idea from another series. I'm not going to say what series it is. And it uses it as the big plot twist in the book. If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about, and that kind of frustrated me a little bit. But regardless, I did enjoy it. I don't know if I will read the rest of the books. I'm not into it as much as everybody else is. It has really big hype. People are really excited to see the movie. I'll probably won't go and see it in theaters. I'll probably watch it online or wait until it comes out on DVD or on Netflix. Or yeah. But I'll wait. If I like the movie, maybe I'll watch or I'll read the second book, but I'll have to see. I just couldn't get that into it. The last book I read in July is John Green's Looking for Alaska. It took me a while to get through this book as well. I would pick it up and put it back and start again and put it back and start again. So I read the first chapter about 5 times, but the 5th time that I picked it up, I really got into it that time, and it is exactly what everybody says. The best way to describe this book is, when I looked on the back, I saw Cleat, had said, the spirit of Holden Caulfield lives on. Holden Caulfield is the main character of one of my favorite books, The Catcher in the Rye. And it is true. The main character, Miles, he moves to a boarding school. And he really does have a Holden Caulfield kind of idea about life. And he gets in with this group of friends. And he falls in love with this girl, Alaska, who's doesn't exactly treat him nicely, but he finds her intriguing anyway. I wasn't a huge fan of the character Alaska, but I liked the relationship that she had with the main character Miles, or Pudge as they called him. I think if I had to choose my favorite character, it would be the Colonel, because he was very real and he told it as it was, and I think he was the type of friend that Miles or Pudge needed in the book. So I really enjoyed that. For my August reads, right now I'm reading a book called Out Loud. It is a book of essays on mental health, mental illness, stigma, and recovery. It's a Newfoundland novel published by Breakwater Books with in association with the Canadian Mental Health Association. Basically, it's people who are from Newfoundland who have or know someone with a mental illness and how they dealt with it, or how they're living with it, or sadly how it caused them to end their life. I'm a psych major in school, so learning about how people deal with mental health issues is really interesting to me. So I'm finding it really interesting. I'm not that far in. I have a McDonald's receipt as my bookmark because I do a lot of reading on my breaks at work. I work night shifts. The book I'm going to read after that one is Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. I also have this one started. So unfortunately, my camera battery died as I was filming that video, so I'm going to finish it on my computer. So I apologize for the poor quality in lighting and sound, probably. So as I was saying, I started reading the Steve Jobs book. Actually, it was probably Christmas of 2012. My mom got it for me as a Christmas gift because I have a thing for Apple products. And I started reading it, but then I think I got intimidated by the size of the book. I don't really read a lot of bigger books because I know it's going to take me a long time, and I tend to get bored with bigger books, so I tend to stick to the smaller ones. But I started reading it and I put it down. I haven't picked it up since. But I decided that August was going to be the month that I finished the biography, and if all goes well, I have a few more biographies that I want to pick up to read. The last book that I plan on reading during the month of August, if time persists, because the Steve Jobs books does have a lot left, but I'm hopefully, if I work really hard, I'll get it finished, is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. As you can tell, it's another book that I have started reading. I started this book for a book club that never got past the first meeting. What I read was very good. I'm actually almost halfway through. When I was reading it, I wasn't living at home, so when I moved into my new place, I lost it for a while and I couldn't finish it. That's partially why I never finished the City of Bones book as well, because I had lost that one when I moved to my aunt's house where I started reading this one. So I'm hopefully going to get that one read. And that's it for this recent reads. I'm going to do full reviews on the books that I've mentioned. I did partial reviews on them, but I'm gonna go into more detail. Expect probably a book a week. That's what I'm gonna aim for on this channel, and I look forward to talking to you soon.